And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions.
Okay, before I begin this video, I just want to say that I'm not doing this for entertainment. I'm not doing this to entertain y'all or get y'all in some type of mindset or whatever. I'm doing this because I feel I need to get this off my chest. I'm almost 50 years old, and I've been holding on to this for like over 20 years. I've been telling my family, people about this for years. So if you don't want to hear it, if you don't like it, keep it pushing. But if you're interested in this kind of stuff, listen to it, man. It's happening right now, like for real. I'm not even playing, so here we go. The climate slowly kept changing. It got worse and worse. Every year, the storms got worse. The typhoons got worse. Animals dying. Everything got worse and worse, and people still refused to see what was going on. All the way until they could not go to work anymore, and the government shut itself down. That's when people stopped kind of doing what they normally do on a day-to-day basis. But let me move on. The climate eventually got so bad that they had sirens at the train stations. It was the underground train stations where the sirens would go off and these tall, skinny tornadoes would just whip past. And people would just walk back out like nothing ever happened. They had it on a time schedule. It was crazy. And then eventually most people in the world was like refugees. Had lost their homes to fire, earthquake, floods, typhoons, something. Bug attacks. I mean, it was getting crazy, but people still, they don't believe nothing. So, that's why I don't tell nobody nothing. Like, I don't care if people believe this video, don't believe this video, like it, not like it, thumbs it up, thumbs it down. I really don't care because it's all happening right now. I've been telling people this for over 20-some years, so it is what it is. I eventually seen whole families, well, parts of families, and people just walking through cities, what used to be cities, like with just backpacks and everything. But, in different places, different things are going to happen. Now, right around this time, the sun started to heat up. And I mean, like, out of all my visions, man, whoever listening to this, regardless of anything, the sun is going to heat up. That was the main point of this whole vision. It's like all my visions, the sun heated up. Slowly but surely. And when it got to a certain point, like when the mobs was looting and it got past the looting, it was just like just a wasteland and people just surviving. It got to the point where the sun was affecting people so badly, it was killing people. And a lot of people starved to death and everything. And the sun, and I say after one summer, after one summer, most of the population disappeared from the sun. I say after 6 months after the collapse, and that first summer, it's gonna take out like a whole lot of people, like most people, And this was before what I call the Great Destruction. That's when something I don't know exactly happened, but after this particular point, my vision's it's just a different world. So I call it the Great Destruction, and the sun heating up builds up to that point. At this time, the city started to look desolate, just straight empty, nobody around. At first, you seen mobs of people hanging here and there, and then they got fewer and fewer. Then you seen no one, and the few people that was left was disappearing, and was forced to go to work on these trains, where they went past some factories where I was sitting next to this guy, and you couldn't talk. You couldn't move. You couldn't make any gesture towards one another for some reason. And it was like Nazi Germany or something. And one guy whispered to me, he said, look, inside those factories, when we was going past on the train, he said, look, inside those factories they turn people into soap. And they make human beings into different type of items, like soap, detergent, stuff like that. Now remember, during this whole time, it's like groups of people like hiding, like literally hiding in bushy areas and stuff. And at this time also, it was rumors of people coming up missing. Like the people that I would run across would say that people was being taken by spaceships. But I believe the spaceships was people. So, and then I entered this limousine where I was sitting with some people that were like, they was white people. They were looked wealthy, but not like regular rich people. They were in control, so to speak. Well, while the earth was heating up so bad that the population, society was gone. It wasn't functioning like it was. Most people had disappeared. A lot of people had died from all kind of things, and it was pretty much like a wasteland. Whole cities were empty at this point, and I walked through a lot of these cities. I'll go into that in a second. But I was in a limousine with these guys, and they drove a limousine down through some rocks, and it went underground. And we went underground, and I didn't know what was going on. Remember, this is the mid-1980s when I saw this stuff. So we went underground, and it was dark. And once we got so far down, it just lit up. It was like a whole city down there. You had your government department. You had apartment complexes. You had actual streets with home addresses and everything. And there was a lot of people there. And it was a very cool looking community. It was really nice. It had everything that we have up here. And but it didn't last long. Time moved different for me when I was having these experiences. Sometimes it would move normal, and sometimes I would go through long periods of time real fast. So I saw this place come, and I saw this place go. But this place didn't last long. I'd say maybe a few years, maybe 10, 20 years, maybe 30. Yeah. Okay, some of the cities. I walked through this city, like literally walked through it, and the sun was beaming hot. It was no people at all. And I walked through a middle school, and I went up to the 3rd floor, and I looked out the window and just looked across the city, and it was just an empty city. And yeah, it was super strange. You know, it's so funny, strange rather, me talking about this stuff right now, because like I do not feel crazy these days. Just think back in the 80s and 90s, I'm telling people it was going to be a wall between America and Mexico. I looked like a fool. But keep on rolling with me. I got some more for you.